Hello everybody, it's Vertical Sandwich. Welcome back to Book Reviews. So we're back to the Vorkosigan saga with Neardans, a Vorkosigan adventure. And here's the thing is, out of the 3 books out of the saga that I read, I love this one most, which is surprising because here's the inside cover kind of plot synopsis of this. Not everyone would envy young Lord Miles Naismith of Vorkosigan, even though he had formed his own mercenary fleet before attending the Naval Academy, and even though his mother was the beautiful Cordelia, the ship captain, who has taught the Lords of Berair much about the perils of sexism. Even the fact that Miles is third in line to the throne and personally owns a major chunk of his home planet would not tempt any normal person to change places with him. When assassins came to rid the world of his father, his mother, pregnant with Miles, was in the line of fire, and Miles was but an egg for the omelet in an all too literal sense. Thanks to heroic medical intervention, Miles survived his near-fatal brush with war gas. As a pain-filled dwarf with bones as weak and brittle as some malign composite of chalk and glass, Miles is often mistaken for a mutant by his mutant-loathing countrymen. But there is one who does envy him, who wants to be him, his brother, his cloned stranger formed from tissue stolen from Miles when he was a child. For Mark Vorkosigan was created and raised up for only one purpose, to become Miles, to murder and replace him. In Brother in Arms, that conspiracy was routed, and Mark made more or less compliant to his new Milesless fate. But in the intervening years, Mark has learned that without Miles, he is nothing. The new and better Mark doesn't really want to kill his brother, but still, it may come to that. Mark to stay, Miles to go. Okay, so I picked this up and went, it's about a clone brother. This is going to be the worst book ever. It's just the most cliched, horrible plotline thing. But here's the thing about this. Mark Vorkosigan is a great character. He is an awesome character. Because here's the thing about this. So, he's cloned to be Miles, but Miles genetically is normal. So, as he's growing up, he can't be Miles, because Miles had this gas attack created him as this kind of brittle-boned dwarf. So to make Mark capable of replacing him in Brother at Arms, somebody systematically broke his bones and ripped them out of him and replaced them with this synthetic tissue and stuff. So he's been horribly tortured his entire life. He's absolutely broken. He is an absolutely broken human being, which is fantastic. It is fantastically interesting. And the thing about it is his strength, unlike Miles, whose strength is just this overwhelming confidence and his ability to just do anything he wants because he's like an Uberman. Mark's strength is you cannot hurt him more than he's already been hurt. He has suffered so much his entire life that, you cannot torture him in a way that will actually, hurt him more than his actual life has tortured him. And that's fantastic. So then what you throw into this is the fact that Cordelia and Errol don't hate him. Genetically, he's their son, and they really just want to get to know him. They believe inherently, genetically, they believe he's an okay person. And even Miles just kind of goes well, this is my brother. He's my brother. It doesn't matter that he's just artificial clone or whatever. This is my brother. So even Miles kind of wants to get to know him. So, in this book, there are kind of he ends up in the family, and then there's just all this stuff going on. I'll give you an overview of the plot in general, though. What happens is, Miles ends up getting injured in battle, and the cryo chamber that he's in ends up getting misplaced, in this battle. And so they're trying to find it. They're just trying to find Miles and save Miles, and what they have is Mark, to kind of take Miles' place when he has to get them to where they need to get Miles and revive him. So this book is all about Mark. And like I said, Mark is fantastic. He's socially inept. He has no close personal relationships with anybody and never has. He was raised exclusively by somebody he considers to be his torturer. And he finds his way into this kind of loving family that's just listen, we just want you to be part of this family. And he's just I hate the world and everything in it. What I want is revenge, like, or a purpose or something. He doesn't even really know, and it's done beautifully. I mean, it's spotless. This book is amazing. Like, Mark is such a cool character, and what happens to him in this book is just fantastic in the way he deals with it. So he ends up at the stands. This is actually the first time that while reading a book, I actually wrote the page I wanted to read in the review on the inside front cover. So yeah. So what do you know about what Miles does? He asked, alarmed. He's actually met a very attractive girl who is considered to be kind of weird by her contemporaries at this dance. Well, he made it through the Imperial Service Academy, didn't he? Her chin rose inspired. When everyone said he was too puny and sickly and it was a waste, and he'd just die young. And then after he succeeded, they said it was only his father's favor, but he graduated near the top of his class. I don't think his father had anything to do with that. She nodded firmly, satisfied. But they had the die young part right. Clearly she was not apprised of Miles' little private army. How old are you? He asked her. 18 standard. I'm, 22. I know, she observed him, still interested but more cautious. Her eyelid with sudden understanding, she lowered her voice. You're very worried about Count Errol, aren't you? I know. Oh, wait. A most charitable explanation for his rudeness. The Count, my father, he echoed. That was Miles' one-breath phrase. Among other things. Have you made any friends here? I don't quite know. Ivan, Gregor, his mother, were any of them friends exactly? I've been too busy making relatives. Never had any relatives before either. Her brows went up. Nor any friends? No, it was an odd realization, strange and late. I can't say as I missed friends. I always had more immediate problems. Still do. Miles always seemed to have a lot of friends. I'm not Miles, Mark snapped, stung on the raw spot. No, it wasn't her fault. He was raw all over. I can see that. She paused as the music began again in the adjoining ballroom. Would you like to dance? I don't know any of your dances. It's a mirror dance. Anybody can do the mirror dance. It's not hard. You just copy everything your partner does. He glanced through the archway and thought of the tall doors to the promenade. Maybe outside? Why outside? You wouldn't be able to see me. Nobody would be able to see me either. A suspicious thought struck him. Did my mother ask you to do this? No. Lady Vorpatrol? No, she laughed. Why ever should they? Come on, or the music will be over. She took him by the hand and towed him determinedly through the archway, dribbling a few more flowers in her wake. He caught a couple of buds against his tunic with his free hand and slipped them surreptitiously into his trouser pocket. Help, I'm being kidnapped by an enthusiast. There were worse fates. A wry half-smile twisted his lips. You don't mind dancing with a toad? What? Something Ivan said. Oh, Ivan. She shrugged a dismissive white shoulder. Ignore Ivan. We all do. Lady Cassia, you are avenged. Mark brightened still further to medium gloomy. Wait. Mark brightened still further to medium gloomy. The mirror dance was going on as described, with partners facing each other, dipping and swaying and moving along in time to the music. The tempo was brisker and less stately than the large group dances, and had brought more younger couples out onto the floor. Feeling hideously conspicuous, Mark plunged in with Corinne and began copying her motions, about half a beat behind. Just as she had promised, it took about 15 seconds to get the hang of it. He began to smile, a little. Like, okay, so here's the thing. If you haven't figured this out about me, I love characters who see doom and gloom in the happiest of circumstances. I like it. I like unbridled, angry cynicism. Like, I do. It's fun for me to see a character who just feels that the worst is going to happen. You know, a thing that doesn't get a lot of play in novels, I suppose, but unless they're meant to be funny. And this novel really delivers. I mean, like I said, Mark is incredibly cynical. He's horribly sarcastic. He really doesn't feel participatory at anything that's going on. He begrudgingly is drugged through an entire adventure that he does not want to be a part of. And the whole time he's surrounded by characters who just want the best for him, and he kind of hates it. And I love that. I love it. It never stops being interesting, watching them just be like, well, we have to do this thing, and him just be like, why? And they're like, because it's the right thing to do. And he's just like, so? And they're like, yeah, but you have to. And he's like, no, I don't. And they're like, yes, you do, or we'll beat you up. And he's like, I guess. If it'll get you to leave me alone, I suppose I will do the right thing. And, like, it's fantastic for me to read that. It's fantastic. And I love it. Like, I love it. I like Mark Marquez again. And unfortunately, he's only really featured in Brother at Arms and this book. So, I know because I looked it up, because if there had been more books with him as the main character, I was going to read them. But the saga tends to focus on Miles when it focuses on anybody from this immediate family. And that's kind of, I mean, for me that's kind of a shame, but I mean, for the readers, like, clearly these novels are very successful because these are the things that her publisher brokered, you know, against writing fantasy for her. When she wanted to write fantasy, her publisher said he would publish these things only if she continued to write novels out of this saga for him. So this saga is ongoing, and this saga actually won the first Hugo Award for best series. So this won the inaugural Hugo Award for that. I don't know if there's only one winner so far, but I would, you know, I don't know that much about the overarching series. I've read just these 3 books out of something like 15. By the way, if you notice that I have to close my left eye sometimes, it's just because it's legally blind and it doesn't focus right, and the direct sunlight sometimes can. I mean, I'm staring at a white wall with sun shining off of it, so yeah, so that's what's going on. Now, those things being said, I loved Mirror Dance. I loved it. I loved Mark Forcas again as a character. I liked everything that kind of went on here, and the entire end of this is so captivating and just wonderful. It's just great. It's just absolutely great. It's great that, like, people have just, and part of what works about this is that Miles, being the greatest man in the history of the universe, has trailblazed an interesting trail for him, right? So he comes into the society that's learned to accept this Uberman, and he's just a normal guy. And they're just like, well, clearly you're your brother's brother, like, so you must be this Superman. And he's just like, I'm just a guy, leave me alone, I don't even know how to dance. It's like so good. This is so good. You really like him, and that's the thing too. He's not a good guy, really. He's just kind of a guy, and that's where any novel is its most interesting, right? When your main character is a guy that you look at and just go like, dude's got some problems. This is awesome. Like, I get it. Like, I also have some problems. They're not somebody spent my entire childhood breaking my bones and surgically replacing them with other stuff. But, like, I can't dance either. It's great. And I loved the line, help, I'm being kidnapped by an enthusiast. Like, that's why I wrote that I had to read that part where he's like, help, I'm being kidnapped by an enthusiast. Because Mark's great. He's cynically brilliant. And there's something wonderful about that, too, that he's a very intelligent person who's just very broken. And I like that. And I like that the book doesn't just turn him into Miles. Doesn't just go like, he can also be this super amazing person. He's not. He's just some guy. At the end of the novel, you're just like, he's just some guy who's struggling, who's doing the best he can with what he's got. And what he happens to have is a family that really wants to get to know him and love him and things like that, and a group of ready-made friends and a brother who wants to really have a relationship with him. Fine. It's everything you would ever ask in the world, right? That, like, he's part of this royal family of this planet. And he's still kind of just like, I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Like, that's great. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And it's worth, like, his adventure through this book is fantastic. It's great. It's got everything the rest of the saga has. It has kind of intrigue and, you know, the possibility of people being tortured and people being killed and horrible things happening and just awfulness and stuff. And then, you know, heroism in the most unlikely and interesting way by the most unlikely and interesting character, which is great, which is absolutely totally great. Like, just check it out. Seriously, check this out. It's the best out of the 3 that I read. And Barrera is no slouch, but this novel is brilliant. This is brilliant. Like, I would like to see more of this character. So, Louise McMaster Bujold, if you're out there with your 4 Hugo Awards, and you're still writing books in the saga, which I know you are, consider Mark. Consider him. I love him. I think he's amazing. I think you should write more about him. Because I don't like Miles. I like Mark. Mark is more my kind of guy. So, with that, when we come back, we will be talking about another Hugo Award winner. I have 3 more to talk about laying in front of me. I'll see you guys for that. Bye, everybody.